like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for Top Gun Boot Camp training. Let's dive in. Nora, what you got?
Yesterday we were talking about like certain personalities when you're on the phone and stuff. And then you showed Becky and I a graph. Um, I thought
Gotcha.
that would be a good thing to bring up this morning and have on this training too.
Was that for the 30-minute strategy session?
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. All right, Becky, what you got?
What is an elevator question?
Yeah, elevator speech is it's your when somebody asks you, what do you do? So you think of you're going from the first floor to the fifth floor in an elevator, and you have somebody's on the elevator says, what do you do? And that's when you go ahead. So it's the short, like, what do you do? And so when I forget, somebody asked Nora what she did, and oh, it was at church. And I'm like, oh, we got to go ahead and work on that some. And so the elevator speech typically it's less than a minute on what you do. So if you go to a lot of networking events or you go family, people, new people, or whatever, what do you do? And so the best elevator speech I've ever heard was an event out in California. I think it was Northern California. And this guy had the coolest elevator speech. And so he's like, imagine and it's like dot dot dot. So imagine what he did is he painted a picture of what he did. So imagine being a business owner and really owning a job rather than owning a company. So most of the time people are mechanical in telling what they do, but you want a story. You want to build a story, build a picture of, what they're doing, what you're doing. So with Dreamscape, imagine you have a dream for your home or your business that requires, a building. And that's what we do. So you work on that elevator speech with the four of you. You call each other and say, what do you do? And so you fine tune that to where it creates intrigue. People are curious. People are like, what? Like, that's interesting. Like when I say, my people ask my wife, what does your husband do for a living? He's a mental chiropractor. What? So people know what a chiropractor is. They kind of laugh and they're like, huh, that's interesting. So you want to struggle with that elevator speech. You want to go ahead and work on that, get that down to where it just flows. Like my life vision just flows. What's your life vision? It just flows. That's what you want in your presentation. Questions?
No.
Okay. So in the book, Good to Great, great companies consist of disciplined people, disciplined thinkers, and discipline in taking action. So, can you get locked on? Can you get locked on what I just gave you? And will you guys drive that forward, the four of you? Will you drive that forward rather than having me drive it forward? Kenny brought something up that he learned from that's really good from the Made to Stick book, and he's still struggling with communications. So somehow he's not internalizing. When you go ahead and learn something of significance, you want to share it with other people for multiple reasons. One is when you write it, type it. Writing's better, typing's better than not typing. And say, this is what I learned. What you do is you lock that into your brain. Like, because I have so many podcasts on a weekly basis, I know that if I have an idea or a concept, if I share it once, it's going to help lock it in my brain. If I share it again and again and again and again, Now all of a sudden it's got trigger points, it's got roots going into a whole bunch of other things. Most of sales is telling stories, it's communicating, it's learn how to communicate what you have. This is what I was showing Becky and Nora yesterday. The 30-minute strategy session is your introduction, it's your setup. It's kind of like if you want to think of it as dating. Like it's the setup line. It's like what's going to go ahead and hook it? What's going to create interest to say, huh, I want to know, like, why are you here? Why are you talking to me? Why are we having a conversation? So your setup question is really important. This is your introduction. Level 1 is get them interested in you. This all takes 3 minutes. It's tight. Really, really tight. So people tend to use too many words or too few words. You want to learn to use just the right number of words. Level 2, so you're getting them interested in you. What's the purpose of the first date? Is to get them interested in, having a second date. Level 2, 11 minutes. This is determining if you want to go ahead and have a second date with them. So get them interested, and you get people interested in you by asking them about themselves. Level 2 is to qualify them. Is this something that you want? So a prospect, so asking them the questions, their biggest challenge questions. It's like, that's unusual. I was expecting a sales presentation. I wasn't expecting the biggest challenge or what you'd love help with, or getting into the personalities. I wasn't expecting that. That caught him off guard. People, if you don't catch them off guard, then if they can anticipate where you're going, they can shut you down faster. Level 2 questions is, do they qualify? So is this the decision maker? Is this the decision maker? Can they afford to go ahead and invest in? And what's their sense of urgency? So that's 14 minutes right there. Level 3 is thorough questions. Through questions, build a bridge between their biggest challenge and your solution, or what they love help with. So you're getting pain points. You're getting key points. That's 30 minutes. So 3, 11, and 6. And you want to fine tune that and get better. Level 4 questions is another 30 minutes. This is usually applied with amiable and analytic personality types to build relationships and trust through data, information, and taking time. So the analytic and the amiable will typically take more time to be able to sell. All right. Anything else, Nora, that you had?
No, not right now.
Luke, what you got?
So yesterday we went out to a lady's house to look at her bathroom, redo her bathroom, and then before we left, she was just telling us how amazing young men we are, and she asked us how old we are, and she just kept going off on how we're doing great things, and then she made the comment that yeah, when she saw us, she was like, yeah, there's a couple kids coming to the door. Um, so what do we do with that? One, how do we overcome the youngness? And two, if people like us because we're so young, then what do we do with that as well?
So Kenny made the observation that he gave out the booklet, and it changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're looking for is you're looking for how do you the pufferfish principle. So for me, the largest investment most people make is their home, the mortgage for their home. So I'm 23 years old. I'm a young male. I'm dumb and irresponsible. But for me, what I did is, I went through college. I was married when I was 20. And so I had 3 years of marriage under my belt. And I was married, and then I had a house. And so what you do is subtly, you don't brag, but you subtly weave in the things that, you're responsible.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sometimes you just go ahead. Sometimes you just go ahead and come right out. You just straight up and say, it seems like, if you think I look young now, you should have seen me 2 years ago. I don't know. So you learn to make a joke of it and say, so it's like what they call the elephant in the room. And so it might be so obvious that you just address it right up front. But this booklet, Kenny said everything changed. Like she looked at it and said, wow, that's amazing. And if it's English, you might be able to go ahead and use the Amish and say, yeah, I went ahead and, like Kenny has his story, his story. So you have his story is his dad, and he worked in a cabinet. So he started working at the age of 3 or 2 or 1. Yeah. So in the Amish, I don't know how familiar you are with the Amish, but they start really young. So I was driving a Bobcat when I was 4. Like, I don't know. So you go ahead and you look at building everything around the story. And so you go, I have, and then you figure out how many years of experience. So actually, I have, 15 years of experience. So I know it looks like I'm, 22. No, I'm really 42. No, I'm just joking. I'm really 22, but I have, 17 years of experience or whatever that is. And then you give them the booklet. So what you're doing is you're continually looking at, how do I build credibility? They say in sales that people will do business with you when they know, like, and trust you. So
Got
people
it.
get to know, like, and trust you. And then here, another idea I just had is, like, you guys saw the booklet that I had. You want to put in testimonies, box 12, this thing. So, pictures say 1,000 words. That's great, but pictures don't tell you. They don't tell you this. They don't tell you the story, the testimonial. And you can build in the testimonies too. You can build in these testimonies where they had concern about your age. I was a little concerned because these guys are young. And then you come up with what's the best thing to overcome that. And you build that into here. And you build it in as, not the first page. Well, you might put a testimony on the first page. And there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can craft the words to, like, I was so impressed with guys that are so young that they had so much success in business and so much experience. So you build that right in. Essentially, it's your whole presentation is in this can be in this workbook, this booklet. Make sense?
Yep.
Kenny, what you got?
So, when we go to obtain testimonies from people to put them in the booklet, what's the best approach to do that?
So a lot of times they're not going to write testimonies, good testimonies, but sometimes they will. A lot of times, most of the testimonies that I have done, I wrote. And so most of these are ones that I wrote, and I did that based on. So you have movie testimony, like this was fun, exciting movie, like they have on, they have 2 words. Why is it so powerful? So these are 2 words, 3 words that go ahead and convey things like challenge free time, some more free time. This one, my degree helped, but I have more time. Quantum thinking. So right here this catches their eye. And so that catches their eye. And so what you do is you look at 2 things. You look at when you're doing your presentation, what are you saying that's moving people? Then you're looking at why you lose prospects. Like, why are people saying no? So, one is, well, these guys are inexperienced. And so the testimonies that Kenny's acquiring from the people, those testimonies are weapons, they're tools. So Kenny uses it. So you use those and you build those into your presentation. And both that's your written and verbal. This is an extension of who you are. So then you go ahead and find out, why are you losing? Why are you losing? And does everyone know where the video on this is?
No.
So these here, you're not familiar with this. All of these videos, and these are like, I don't know, 7 to 15 minutes. They're short videos. And this goes through and shares what it is. You feed your successes back in. So here's a video that's a short video, and you watch this video, and then you bring it up here and say, do I have questions? How do I instill it? This right here is the prospect rescue. This walk through, it does an entire presentation so you can visualize it. Questions, Kenny?
No, that makes sense. And then it would probably be best to, after you come up with a presentation or referral or
So often what I do is I just think of the referral, I think of the need. What do I need them to say? And what's the client? Then I try to put it into words and said, hey, I was wondering if you ask them, then you say, hey, I was wondering if it'd be okay if, we kind of had a referral, like a note from you, an experience from you. And they're like, sure. And you say, and I'd be more than happy to write it for you. And then you can tweak it. That's how you get them to say yes.
got it.
And then I would go ahead and do your first draft of it, and I'd build a library on it. So I would build a library on it, and then I would do the best you can, and then I'd run it by me. Again, it's ask a question, tell a story often. This is something that I showed Becky and Nora too. The master strategy for precise selling is often you get an idea of how you, like, I'm interested in a garage roof, or I'm interested in this or that. And so you just go into your sales presentation. What you want is multiple pain openings. People are motivated more on avoiding pain than gaining pleasure. So how do you take the pain and how do you like, tell me more about that? And again, this is an art as much as it is a science. So I like to have 3 pain points. This is why in the 30-minute strategy session, just in the first 3 minutes, I get their biggest challenge and what they love help with. Biggest challenge is their pain. Love help with maybe pain, or it could be pleasure. A lot of times it's going to be pleasure. So in first 3 minutes, I've got 2 leverage points that I can use to go ahead and get them to do a 30-minute strategy session. So you get 1 opening. What you think is, you think you're going to go ahead and sell based on this. If you don't get the pain openings, if you don't get 3 of them where you can go ahead, so it's patience. So the daughter of the president of Grand Design, she's a professional, pickleball player, and so plays professionally. And so I played with her, against her, and I asked her at the end, like, what would be one suggestion to my pickleball game? She said, be patient, which is my driver. So my driver comes out on the pickleball court. My analytic tends to be patient. And so I got to make more patience. I got to go ahead and have more of that. So the same thing is true in sales. In sales, learning how to, so this is going to be, pre-sales is patience, and sales is impatience. People that are analytic and amiable tend to be too patient. People that are driver and expressive tend to not to be patient enough. So it's just like shooting a gun. If your sights are off by 3 degrees to the right, you got to aim 3 degrees to left. You take and you understand, and this is where self-awareness is so important. Understanding yourself is really, really, really important. Your personality and what your tendencies are and how you react, all of that. So you're in control of your energy rather than your energy being in control of you. Becky, what you got? You're on mute if you're talking. Anybody else have anything else?
I don't think I do.
All right. Good deal. Appreciate you all. Have an amazing day. Bye. So Luke asked, can you use Google reviews? Yes, you can. Can you partner? Can you put the booklets into, your partners like Oak Grove, the entryway? I mean, one of your higher end jobs came from a doctor's office. Can you go ahead and will they be willing to put that in there? And so you guys had a whole bunch of stuff for sales, a whole bunch of sales questions, like in the earlier call, like a whole bunch of those. And so, yeah. So here, once you get the 530 grid down, okay, or as you're going through that, the next level is going to be leadership and then profitable partnerships. So leadership is culture and values, vision, belief, and knowledge do give in our legacy. And we talked about, I don't know if you guys are taking notes, we talked about in your booklet, do you have hiring? Are you looking at drawing people in? And then do you go ahead and partner up with Becky and Nora? Do you help them and do they help you? Do you partner up like Compass? Compass is sending out something 4 times a year to, I don't know, 1,500 people. How do you get into that? How do you get something into that? So you always want to give far more as a reflex. You want to give far more than you get. You want to give so much that people don't even question. They don't even question how much are you giving? Like, is it equal? It's just like there's tremendous, like you're just giving so much to one another. And so then into profitable partnerships, the 5H is hope, head, heart, hands, helping other people. And the 7 T's, time, talents, treasure, trust, truth, temple, and thought. And so in Coffee Connections, do you give out the booklet? So the nice thing about accounting is everybody does taxes. Got to do taxes. Good thing about construction is everybody's building something, knows somebody building something. But you want to get them to think of you. How do you get them to think of you? Realtors use magnets. So they give out magnets and they put them on a refrigerator. A lot of stuff.